Bigfoot. Is it real? Is Bigfoot really out there? Well, I've taken it upon myself to go deep into the Pennsylvania woods to find out, is Bigfoot real? So what I did was I went way out in the woods here in Pennsylvania and set up a trail cam on a particular tree pointing at a particular anomaly. Here is the area generally where I have set up my experiment, my trail cam, and any subsequent evidentiary photographs that it may happen to take. So here is the trail cam of which I've spoken, and it is attached quite firmly to this tree, as you can see. It is about 5 feet high, and it has an angle of about 7 or 8 degrees downward as it is looking over in this direction. The ground falls here, and there is a gully which you can just barely see running along there. And this would be formed by water runoff from higher regions up to the left of the photograph. And further up the photograph is this anomaly. There are 2 trees fallen over, and I use that word loosely, fallen, because there's a good probability that these didn't just fall. Now, they're leaning against this tree, and this tree splits into 2 other trunks. And these 2 trees are placed directly in the fork of that split. Now, the first tree is this littler tree, which comes up like that. The second tree is this much larger tree, which comes up from here and itself splits into 2 trunks. And they're oriented and twisted in just such a way that they fit between the fork of these 2 trunks. And here is another view of the fallen tree anomaly. Now, a great many people would say that was just the wind, or maybe it fell over from old age or rot, and just so happened to be oriented in that direction when it fell and just fit in there the way it did, falling as it did. All right, I will allow you a probability that that may be accurate, but just think about the odds of that tree falling directly on the other tree in just such a way that it forked its own angle down to fit between that narrow fork of the other tree and just happened to fit in the way it did. Almost like a piece in a puzzle. So here you can see this is the tree that my camera's mounted to. There's the camera, and it's pointed directly at this fallen tree anomaly in hopes of capturing what may have caused these trees to fall in the first place. Nearby the camera location, about 50 yards away, is this secondary fallen tree anomaly. Here you can see 3 trees fallen over, and they are all lying in the same direction. And you can see the huge root structure that had been torn out of the ground for these things to have fallen. They were not cut down, they were not chopped down. And as you can see, by the nature of the woods and the layout of these trees, there was no vehicle of appropriate size that would have been able to drive through here without knocking all these trees and brush over, to have pushed this tree over. There's no human that would be big enough and tough enough, and not even a group of humans that could push this tree down by hand. So, what did knock these huge trees down? What did that? And by the way, there's actually 5 of these trees, and they're all lying in exactly the same direction. What are the chances of that? What are the chances of that? The chances that it happened naturally are beyond calculation. I think there's a high probability these trees, these and the anomaly of fallen trees I showed you previously, were arranged by Bigfoot. High probability Bigfoot pushed these trees down for a certain reason. What else could it be? Could have been something else. Rather improbable, but it could have been something else. But it could have been Bigfoot. And so I have the camera set up out there. It's been set out there for a couple weeks back, and when I get a chance, I will go back out to the site with a video camera and get a lot better shots for you to see what's going on out there, how the camera is set up, what the situation is. Get a good walkabout so you get a decent feel for the layout and the nature of this forest. Again, a forest deep in the Pennsylvania wilderness, in a non-disclosed area of the Pennsylvania wildlands, in the search for Bigfoot. Now, Bigfoot prefers woodland to any other kind of land. And the reason for that is Bigfoot doesn't want to be found. It wants to stay away from humans. It wants to keep away from us. It doesn't want to have anything to do with us. Bigfoot has its own thing going on, and it's been going on for thousands and thousands of years, and they're perfectly fine with the way they live. They don't want to change. They don't want to have contact and cultural exchange between their species and our species. They would prefer to keep to themselves, and that's why they stay in the woods for the most part. So, being deep here in the Pennsylvania woods and having the camera set up as it is and pointed at an anomaly with a high probability of Bigfoot contact, hopefully I'll get some decent pictures of a Bigfoot or a number of Bigfoots coming around this area of the woods and checking out his handiwork, and probably looking into the tree fall that he created, kind of like artwork, I believe. He'll come back and check it out, and he'll see if everything's okay and if it needs any maintenance or repair. That's my theory, and got the camera pointed. They're going to get some pictures, I think. I hope I do. So we'll be back and show you some on-site video footage of this area before letting the camera run even longer and giving it a better chance of picking up some Bigfoot out there. Till next time, have a good evening. Take care. Bye, everybody.